Smork. Okay, let me just check the rules of this tournament, because I actually know. I do not know. Rules. Das only. Higher seed picking first. Hand cam strongly encouraged, and neither player has it. Oh well, it's fine. Who cares? Okay, so I'm guessing both players are ready because they've said it's in chat. So let's get it counted down. No one's going to be here because monthly Tetris is live, so you know, 0 audience. So let's get this counted down in a 3, 2, 1 Tetris. So maybe this will last like 20 minutes. We'll see. Alright, so we have Torzsa and Mr.Faq. 2 pretty good players. Mr.Faq seeded quite high in this tournament. 15th seed. As you can see, I added that onto the scene because I felt like it was an important thing to add. And Torzsa coming in at the 31 seed, so I think probably underqualified a bit. But then again, it was only like half an hour qual, so it's kind of like no time. Which is why NGC man was seeded so low as well, right? 30 minutes, that's time for like 5 games maybe. That's not that many games, so the seeding is a bit all over the place in this tournament, I think. Mr.Faq gonna get a dirty Tetris to perfectly transfer the well to the right side. Both players are pretty neck and neck right now. In fact, it is in fact a tie game. In fact, I said that 3 times in that sentence because I have good vocabulary. And there's a Tetris for Torzsa, 96,900. Mr.Faq gonna take a burn to break the tie. And then Torzsa takes a single as well, so we're tied yet again. It's still a tie game, but Torzsa's going to take that Tetris while Mr.Faq takes a triple. So it is no longer a tie game. Torzsa with a 1 Tetris lead. Fine margins. But yeah, so it is pretty close. Not much in it at the moment, which you'd expect. Nothing too crazy on the board at the moment. So very nice clean stacking on display. I have nothing to make fun of, especially on Torzsa's side. I'm expecting him to mess up at any point soon. Yeah, so 236 for Torzsa, 199 for Mr.Faq. So doing pretty well at the moment. Torzsa with a J-tuck, and is Tetris ready. Both players Tetris ready. And Torzsa gonna have to block the well. Bit of bad parity, but gets a T-piece. Mr.Faq gonna knock down the Tetris. Both players set up for 1. Torzsa set up for 2. Waiting a long bar, gonna have to take a triple because no long bar in sight for Torzsa. And there's a Tetris for Torzsa, 295. Mr.Faq with a line spin. And then another Tetris for Torzsa, goes to 318. Through 71 lines, so it's not a bad game. Oh, Mr.Faq creates a long bar dependency, but instantly got the long bar. Totally calculated that move. Torzsa avoiding setting up a long bar dependency with the S piece. And just gonna have to set up a dirty Tetris here, but gets a triple instead to bring it down. What a pussy. Nice adjustment with the square for the J. And it's clean once again. Mr.Faq gonna take a Tetris to take the lead. 342 for Mr.Faq, 328 for Torzsa, so 2 very good games going on here at the moment. Torzsa has an S piece dependency in the center of the stack, but gonna use a T instead to reopen the right side and get a Tetris. 378 for Torzsa, 387 for Mr.Faq. So it's actually a really close high scoring game so far. Well, I'm sure Aki probably wouldn't be proud of this pace. You'd expect both players to have 200,000 points more at this stage. But there's another Tetris. Mr.Faq to go to 411 through 95 lines, and Torzsa at 402. Has a peg situation in the centered stack, so he's going to be forced into a long bar dependency as Torzsa. But going to get the long bar, so going to resolve it with no burns. And an Aki bar to set up for a Tetris. And Torzsa is Tetris ready. Waiting on a long bar. Gets the long bar for a Tetris. 448 to 458. Mr.Faq in the lead by 10,000 points and gets another Tetris. 108 lines for Mr.Faq at 481. Torzsa only 10,000 points back. Mr.Faq going to knock down another one to go to 503 through 112 lines. Torzsa set up for a dirty Tetris. Going to get the dirty Tetris. Go to 493. Only going to be 2 onto burning to get back to the right side. And Mr.Faq takes another Tetris, 526. Torzsa takes another Tetris, 517. So it's pretty close. Very good game so far. And Torzsa decides to set up a 5 high Vits for absolutely no reason. So probably going to lose a bit of pace here. Needs a long bar now to get Tetris ready. Has burnt it out cleanly. Mr.Faq now with a J double situation on the right side because can't get out of that with no burns. So 1 Tetris away from the transition for both players. Mr.Faq going to hit that S spin. No burns available for Torzsa if he wants to Tetris into transition. Mr.Faq Tetris into transition of 579. Torzsa triples and then triples again. 556 for Torzsa in 19. So now we're going to see what kind of DAS control these two players have. Because we know DAS 19 is a different beast compared to 18. So Torzsa at 561. Mr.Faq on 589. Torzsa's left side very high. Is going to score a Tetris. 587. Only 2,000 points behind. And Mr.Faq running it into a bit of trouble. Torzsa needs a J piece and gets long bar straight after the J piece for a Tetris. 612 to take the lead. But hangs the long bar on the left side. Gonna have to bring it down with that double with the long bar. Mr.Faq takes a triple to go to 600. Torzsa in the lead by about 17,000 points at 617. Gets the long bar over to the left side. Mr.Faq with a bit of digging to do. Gets a nice S burn there. Now has a J piece dependency. Is looking for a J piece. Gets a long bar instead. J piece comes to piece too late. A bit annoying there for Mr.Faq. Torzsa set up a Tetris, gets a square to the left-hand side, takes the single there. Torzsa gets a Tetris, 649. Mr.Faq covers the well as the long bar comes. They set up for a Tetris now, would like a long bar. Is the long bar going to show up for Mr.Faq? There's the long bar for Mr.Faq. Tetris into level 22, 637. Torzsa at 676. Mr.Faq with an Aki bar, but now a long bar dependency. And Mr.Faq is in trouble now. Gets an L piece and a perfect long bar to fill it out. And now is reopened for a Tetris on the right side. There's a long bar for Mr.Faq. Tetris. Mr.Faq 672, Torzsa 735 on level 23. That has about 2 Tetris lead. There's a Tetris for Mr.Faq though, 701. So only 1 and a bit Tetrises behind is Mr.Faq. Because both players are very similar line counts as well. Torzsa into 24 with a tuck and a Tetris, 769. Mr.Faq 733 into 24. So this is separated by like barely a Tetris. Very good game going on at the moment. There's a Tetris for both players. 802 into 25 for Torzsa. Mr.Faq at 763. Torzsa gets the J piece to the left hand side. That's like 7 high, I think. Probably quick tapped it. And then Mr.Faq at 779 to not far back. Torzsa gets a long bar to the left side. Oh, misdrops the J piece. Now needs an L piece to reopen. Gets the L piece and gets a long bar for a Tetris. 844. Mr.Faq sacrificing the board. Needs a long bar. Not going to get the long bar, and Mr.Faq's going to top out at 781. And Torzsa's going to take game number 1. 846 on 26. Very good game, number 1. From both sides. Incredible. And then Vandy says he finds it quite credible. That was a good game. GG. Could have been double DAS max out. I don't know how much Torzsa's tapping. But he hit some nice 7 lefts there, I think. But either way, it was pretty good. I'm not enforcing the rules. If someone wants to disqualify any player, then they can do that. Yeah, and Torzsa's going to top out at 862 and 27. GG. Torzsa going to say it was all DAS. So we're going to give heart number 1 to Torzsa. And Scan, welcome. More interesting than hopefuls. Yeah, I agree. I don't even know who's playing in hopefuls right now. Oh well. Okay, so both players are ready. I think Warband's playing actually. So yeah, Warband's playing, yeah. Alright. That's the only relevant person. Yeah, I think that's the only name I recognize, I can't lie. Alright. 3, 2, 1 Tetris. Don't worry, Torzsa, I'm not Scamper, so I'm not gonna like VOD review and disqualify you, it's fine. And I don't think anyone else will do it either, I can't lie. Alright, so 3, 2, 1 Tetris, let's go. Did I count down twice? Maybe I did, I don't know. Easy memory loss. Alright, so we had a very good game number 1. So let's see if game 2 can live up to that hype. Oh man. Make sure you drink water, kids. It's quite important to survival. Not sure if you knew that. Alright, so Torzsa getting up high. Long bar comes a piece too late for Torzsa. Would like an L or J. Nice T there for that double. Mr.Faq running into a bit of issues as well, but is set up for a left roll Tetris. And blocks the long bars of the... Blocks the well as the long bar comes. And is in a bit of trouble. Nice square piece there. Nice long bar flat burn as well. Looking... Oh, and a misdraw for the square piece. That could be trouble. Gets a long bar to the left side and a J piece for that J piece dependency. Tetris there for Torzsa, 76,000. Gonna take an early lead. Mr.Faq has cleaned it up. Looking for a long bar now. And there's a long bar for Mr.Faq. Probably a sigh of relief there. Gonna take that triple as well to bring the well back to the right side. 64,000 for Mr.Faq. 100,000 for Torzsa. And Torzsa with a nice center well Tetris. Very efficient, and then misshifts the S piece, so that's quite inefficient, like who cares, English language. Torzsa with the J piece dependency, gonna get a long bar instead, so that would do nicely. Mr.Faq can't really burn, has a pretty high stack, gonna get a long bar to get a Tetris. Torzsa gonna get a Tetris as well. Mr.Faq gets another one. Mr.Faq actually has a slight lead, but Torzsa takes it right back. 172 for Torzsa, 158 for Mr.Faq. So another close game it's looking like, but you know it's still like not even halfway through 18 yet, so you can't really say anything about the game. Because you know both players could still early top out, and with Das it's always a possibility. Well, I guess it's a possibility with any playstyle, but it's going to be more likely with Das. Unless you're like NGC man, you can just kill screen every single time with the Das somehow. Torzsa 241 with a Tetris, 264. Mr.Faq 209 with that Tetris. Torzsa looking for an L or J, gets a J piece. Tetris ready once again. And there's a Tetris for Torzsa, 286. So, you know, very solid game once again. And as I say that, Torzsa misshifted but got a nice square targeted L piece. So now looking for a long bar to fill out that the left side. And now is set up a Tetris, but would rather have a long bar on the left side to fix the stack. And long bar not showing up for Torzsa. Gonna have to get a J piece there instead. This could be trouble for Torzsa. Gonna get a nice L piece. Looking for another long bar here. Is chopping it down slowly. Long bar comes a piece too early there for Torzsa, because the well was closed. Had to bring that L back, almost misdropped it. It's going to get a nice double with a T, but there's still a bit of work to do for Torzsa. Mr.Faq going to take a lead at 326. Torzsa just crosses 300,000 points. And puts the J down the left side. I don't know if that was the best idea, because now he's got to put more weight on that hole. And it's going to be a bit more burning. And misdrops the Z piece. Mr.Faq fills in the long bar dependency. And the Tetris ready, so there's a chance for Mr.Faq to extend the lead further. Torzsa still trying to reopen his right side, because that hole is just causing issues for Torzsa on the left side. Just stacking more pieces on top, so it's slowing him down a lot more. And there's another Z piece on top of that hole. No long bars in sight for Torzsa when he needs them. Really bad long bar timing. And would like a long bar now. Gonna get the J piece for a delayed double. And finally a long bar for a Tetris for Torzsa 339. Mr.Faq with a Tetris 441. So Torzsa now going to be able to set up on road 2. And he's going to do so. Looking for a long bar for a perfect world transfer, but it's not going to happen. Torzsa stacking even more weight on that left side. He's going to get a Tetris though to 367. Mr.Faq stack very high up. Going to get an S double. Going to get another double with the L piece. Gets that L piece to the left side and gets a Tetris. And is back to safety. 468 for Mr.Faq with another Tetris to go to 491. Torzsa way back. 394. So it's nearly 100,000 points. It pretty much is. And Torzsa with some work to do in the post. Mr.Faq at 514 already. And then Akibar to get Tetris ready once again. And Mr.Faq with another Tetris. 537. And a misshift there of the T-piece for Torzsa. Going to reopen the right side well with just 2 burns. But now getting jouted. And nothing seems to be working out for Torzsa this game. And Torzsa going to hang the long bar and top out at 124 lines. So before the transition at 396. I don't know why I said the line count. So Mr.Faq going to tie up the set 1-1. A very solid transition score. So GG. So we're at 1-1. And we're in for game number 3. Yeah, Mr.Faq topping out, but you know, they already won a long time ago. So it's fine. Torzsa was 300,000 points behind. So you're chilling. Alright, so Torzsa's ready for game number 3. VTuber playing Tetris is ready for game number 3. So we'll get this counted down in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. Alright, so game number 3. This will put one player on match point. So, you know, I'm sure both players looking forward to... They're going to want to progress into the quarterfinals of this tournament, where they will be facing a player that I do not know the name of, because I don't have the bracket up right now. And Torzsa with a spire of S pieces to start. We're going to get a Tetris. Mr.Faq, bit of trouble. Needs a J piece to the left side. Gets a long bar instead, which will do. And going to get a nice L and J to reopen the Tetris well and score a Tetris. Torzsa with a J tuck and a Tetris. 95,000 to start for Torzsa. 55,000 for Mr.Faq. I'm going to quickly look at the bracket. Where am I looking? Bracket. So the winner of this will face either Messex, Alejo, or James. James is in Penguin Panic, James. So I think Alejo is probably the best dance player on this side of the bracket. And they do have the highest seed as well, so expecting some good games out of that match if it happens. Alejo still needs to play 2 rounds to meet one of these 2 in the quarterfinals, because no one's played their highlight bracket yet. It's like still in round 1. Yeah, so could be the Messex, Penguin Panic, or Alejo. So could be good games. Could be good games. So Torzsa looking for an S piece or a T piece, gets it too late. Just typical. So another hole on the left side for Torzsa. Gonna have to burn this out. And last time he had a lot of trouble burning the hole on the left side out, but this time he's going to be able to do so pretty efficiently. Not like, it's literally 100 times less burning than he did in the last game. And has reopened the right side. Mr.Faq with 2 J piece dependencies, which isn't ideal. Gets 2 L's, but fortunately had swapped one of the L piece dependencies. Now Mr.Faq in trouble. gets the long bar to the left side. LJ gets the long bar, but like another LJ, oh, nearly misshifted the S piece. Had to pull it back really quickly, and did pretty well. And it's now set up for Dirty Tetris. A nice, juicy center well. And going aggro for this Tetris. I don't know if it's the best idea. We're getting, oh my god! And gets long bar at the last moment and didn't rotate it. And so Mr.Faq gonna top out at 180 something. 186. So Torzsa, you're good for game number 3. And there's heart number 2 for Torzsa. So Torzsa on match point. The 31 seed. Looking to cause a seed upset here. But yeah, it's going to be an important game number 4 for Mr.Faq. Both players ready. So it's going to count it down in 3, 2, 1 Tetris. So game 4. Let's go. Mr.Faq set up aggressively for that long bar, and when they did get it, it was a bit too late because they couldn't the spire in the center was a bit too high, and they didn't get the rotation in time, and topped out as a result. I think if Mr.Faq got any other piece there, probably would have resulted in the top out anyway. So just unfortunate that it was the long bar that caused the top out. Because that was a very aggro setup. Didn't want to take any burns. And Mr.Faq up really high to start and has a dependency on the left side already. And this is going to be a really bad ending here for Mr.Faq. Going to top out with 2 lines on the board. 1,520 points. And Torzsa is going to take game number 4 in a very sad ending. So congratulations Torzsa on getting your 3rd heart, and moving on to the quarterfinals of Jugá Tetris Carambá. So we will see you then in the next round, and unfortunate there for Mr.Faq. GG's, and we'll see you next time, I guess. I'll just raid monthly Tetris, because that's the only relevant channel live right now.